guys at Turner are great. You know, they're incredibly enthusiastic, they're incredibly experienced. Because I'm in Atlanta shooting, which is not an accident, you know, I knew it would be hugely helpful to be on the ground with the guys, and it has been fantastic.
The thing that's been great about Turner Studios being involved in the film has been that, one, they're here in Atlanta with us, which is great, so we get a chance, the guys can come out and see the work and be a part of it. There's something about being here that helps so much in terms of being able to understand what the scene's about, and the director can talk directly with them and stuff like that. But also, we've been able to develop a rapport so they understand the movie. They're part of the crew.
We had a lot of people that were suited for a lot of different aspects of the pipeline, and fantastic attitudes. Everybody was really excited about working on this project, and everybody wanted to just give it their all. Everybody just contributed everything that they had because they were passionate about this project.
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, it was the best time of my life.
The interaction between the two departments, the compositors and 3D, was great.
Everybody had to rely on each other and really have a lot of close communication on all the shots. That's really how we were able to pull it together.
You know, if you murk around just in going from boards directly into a shoot, you know, it's a liability. You can make a great scene, but you're not allowing yourself the opportunity to maximize everything.
A lot of times visual effects is considered to be post-production, but we're talking about really being part of the production. We were involved in pre-production, planning the film. I'm constantly taking shots, and you know, the actors are having to visualize this giant ship ball coming off a freeway. I can show them a test of it that we've done so that they understand what they're seeing, even though there's nothing there. So that's the kind of stuff that's incredibly beneficial to the performance of the film and the final quality of the product. So we've had a great relationship with Turner on this film.
You know, it's a brain trust, and that's how these movies get made. That's what makes them good when they work. That's what makes them work, is you got all brains firing on all cylinders, you get the best material. Simple as that.
Turner's contributing probably 60–70% of the visuals in the film, spread throughout the film and all sorts of stuff, and so we've had all kinds of things.
The scope was pretty daunting when we first got it. I think we originally were going to have a smaller number of shots, and then it just continued to grow and grow. Once we got into our stride, I think it fell into a nice, comfortable rhythm and didn't feel as overwhelming. But yeah, at the beginning, it was a little scary.
This was actually the most ambitious project I've worked on, and I'm used to something like spending a year on 36 shots or something like that, and here we have 400 shots to do in 3 to 4 months with a fairly small team. For most of the people on the team, this is what we want to do.
410 shots is no easy feat, and to keep the quality up that we had to maintain was even more of a challenge.
There's no way that we could have done it without a lot of previs up front, a lot of great planning, terrific tools. The most important thing is we had a fantastic team to work on this job. Everything just went seamlessly, very smoothly, and we ended up with some fantastic looking shots that I think are really going to enhance the look of this movie.
We had a mountain of 410 shots, and we were constantly climbing that mountain, trying to reach the peak, and it was always, you know, so close yet so far away. But when we finally finished, it was an amazing accomplishment and something to really be proud of.
The amount of camaraderie, I think, that came out of this, working with everybody, working with such a large group of people was really beneficial, and I think it shows in the end product.
One of the challenges with doing computer-generated characters in a real scene is the integration of that character into the scene. So what you want to do is you want to find ways for that creature or that character to affect its environment in a real way to get the reality of it.
Taking a character such as Humongousaur, who doesn't exist in reality, and integrate him into a shot presents some challenges.
Humongousaur was this big, hulkish character that was jumping around and kicking up dirt, and he had to obviously blend into the live-action plates that were shot. So that was really precise, meticulous work that, you know, we had to basically really integrate him well. We had to integrate these live-action elements.
All the little details like dust puffs and spray on the pavement, reflections in puddles, all those things combine to create an effect that looks realistic.
In order for us to integrate Humongosaur consistently throughout the sequence, we have to get color-corrected plates as sort of a base to start with. That's sort of our foundation.
I was responsible for building the initial shading setup for Humongosaur, which is how he reacts to light, the look of his skin, his eyes, his teeth. That was something we worked really closely with Alex and Evan on to make him look real gnarled, real gritty. One of the things that we did on the show was not have things really in light. We didn't always have to see him really clearly. Sometimes by having him just kind of in shadow and really high contrast, it really made it much more menacing and much more interesting.
Environmental things, kind of like the dust, the footfalls. He does kick up some dust as he's moving around. All these things that you can add to the actual 3D character help integrate him into the shot.
We knew that there was going to need to be a lot of interaction between Humongosaur and the environment. And so early on, as we were bidding this show, we're looking at how many different CG elements we were going to have to create. And they were numerous. It was going to have to be foot stomps, trails coming off of moving spiked wheels, explosions, different elements. And it really becomes labor intensive for the 3D department to be doing all of this work. And one great solution to this problem is to actually shoot some of these elements practically, because nothing looks more real than practical, real elements.
We all decided to kind of guerrilla style go down and shoot our own smoke effects and dust effects.
3 of us went down there with an HD camera, and we had collected some gravel that morning in a big bucket, and we brought in some bags of flour.
Very, very low tech. We did puffs of flour and dirt, dust. We did some canned smoke.
And just creating these different smoke puffs and explosion elements, falling rocks, dirt, and stuff like that, so that later we would be able to key these elements off of the black background, put them into the plates, and make the shot that much more exciting and integrated.
We used it to create impact points on the ground, to integrate swarms into the ground with swirls of dust and things like that.
We were able to shoot really effective live-action elements for a lot of those effects, which saved a lot of time.
It was pretty involved. There were a lot of elements that had to be composited into those shots.
So what we've done here, as you can see, the effects team is rigging this piece of wall. This bit of concrete here was originally here. This piece of wall is styrofoam. So we've actually added this little return, and then what we've done is we've added this piece that's breakaway. Where you see those tape marks, there's pyrotechnic charges that'll blow out pieces of the wall, and it'll look like something's hit the wall.
You see Humongosaur? He smashes the chips, and they go flying behind him over to the other eye line, and they start to form spike wheels. Everyone look over the other eye line.
That's kind of whatever. It's kind of a nightmare.
And cut.
What's hitting the wall is going to be these giant spike wheels that are throwing off pieces at our heroes, which are hiding behind the wall. So our actors can be there safely, stuff can go flying, and we get this really great shot, and then we add our CG stuff into it, and now it feels like it's all part of the same scene.
That's kind of whatever. It's kind of a nightmare.
For the Plomeros headquarters scene, we had to take the map graphics and make them look like they were being projected on the wall behind the headquarters. So In 3D, they actually tracked all the camera movements. They created 3D meshes that matched the actual ribbons in the shot.
We made use of an installation they actually have at the aquarium that we were able to get the blueprints from the architects and build a virtual version of that installation. Then we're able to match to the camera that was on set to place that in the scene and basically replace the real set elements with our digital light band installation. And once that's created, we're able to give that geometry to the compositors, and they were able to map all the graphics onto that and have it lock into the scene perfectly.
So as you can see here, Kevin's car is taking a little bit of a hit. Last night we photographed this as a huge stunt. The car was driving about 40 miles an hour down the road, hit a big ramp, went flying, smashed itself into these pieces here. So this is great, and it's always fun to do these big stunts. People love to do them, and it's a lot of fun to shoot them, everyone except maybe the driver.
So we have a car that basically flips after it's been attacked by one of these spiked balls, and basically on set, the car is going over a steel ramp. But to the viewer doesn't want to see a steel ramp, so we have to remove that, and that's a lot of work in itself.
The challenge for us in the visual effects world is now Humongosaur's got to pick this thing up and smash stuff with it. So we have to make a computer-generated version of this car.
And there are lots of ways to build and model a car in CG. Some of them are expensive and time-consuming, then others require a lot of cheats and tricks. And because of the budget and the turnaround time, it became very evident that we needed to pull out any kind of a trick out of our bag to be able to make a CG car look very real and make it look wrecked as quickly as possible.
You know, you can't control how these things are going to crash. It didn't. We actually thought it would land on its roof. It landed on its wheels. So we only had the one. So that's the first and only take of this car crash, so we're going to make it work.
So the process that we used to make the wrecked version of Kevin 11's car was to photograph it from all orthographic angles. So we just got like a straight-on driver's side view, shot of the hood, the front grille, the passenger side, the top ceiling, the trunk, back end of the car. Once we had all of these photographs from all the different angles, we were able to line up a CG car that was the exact same make and model of the car.
When we started, we kind of didn't know how damaged it was going to be. So now we've got to actually match all of these dents and all this broken glass and everything in our computer-generated version so that he has something to pick up that looks like this.
Once we had all of these photographs, we projected the texture directly from the image back onto the geometry. So that gave us a good starting point to have all of the different color layers of the car in place, wrecked with the dirt and all the scratches and all the dents and everything already built into the model. The next part of the procedure was to then build an ambient occlusion shape, which just put in the natural shading that would go along with all of those dents and the grooves and all the different seams that went with the original car. And then once we added a reflection pass and then the broken glass and everything, it really worked very well within the shot for the little bit amount of screen time that they had when Humongosaur was picking up the car. It pulled it off, and we didn't have to spend weeks and weeks developing a photoreal computer-generated car.
We ready? Well, no, hold on, we're adjusting a light. A scene like this, which is, you know, despite the fact we have kids watching, you know, the rest of the group watching, which is basically CG on CG, is essentially for production unit flying blind.
There's two ways to approach that type of a sequence. One is to just go out there and shoot random plates and hope that you get the coverage that you need and then insert your CG. The other is to do previs, and that sort of educates the director as to what sort of shots he needs and how the story is going to be told.
You know, if you murk around just in going from boards directly into a shoot, you know, it's a liability. You can make a great scene, but you're not allowing yourself the opportunity to maximize everything.
So we did what's called pre-visualization, which is basically we took this whole environment and modeled it inside the computer.
It's good to previs a shot because it's a good way to plan out the whole sequence. It really helps with like telling the story, seeing how shots work together, and also plan out camera positions and see how they would work in a real world environment.
This is such a complicated movie that we really wanted to make sense of it and figure all this out before we got here, because we got to shoot so many empty shots with just a freeway or just a wall and without anything happening now. It's all going to happen later. We wanted to figure it out and help our director Alex sort through the scene. Always a challenge for the actors and the film crew because we don't have a 20-foot tall humongosaur. We've got you know, a ball on a stick. So that's what we've got.
So what Turner Studios has done is they've taken storyboards that I created a while ago, and we started to develop those.
These are generated from little thumbnail sketch versions that Alex does, gives them to the storyboard artist generates these, we do several revisions of that. Then we give these to Turner Effects.
I think when we first got the storyboards from Alex and Evan, they were very loosely based, just sort of broad strokes. And we took those boards and started to brainstorm with them, which was really great because it gave us the opportunity to kind of be creative and, you know, lend our creative talents to helping Alex realize his vision.
A lot of times what happens with storyboard artists is that they cheat. You know, he doesn't know exactly where the freeway is, he doesn't know exactly where the car lands, he doesn't know a lot of the details of how the scene's going to play out, so he just kind of giving an impression of how the scene's going to go.
We took those rough storyboards and basically pushed them further, figured out what sort of characters we need to create, what sort of camera angles we need to establish, how long the sequence would be, what sort of terrain we would be filling, how much area within our geographic location we would be shooting in. So it was really helpful to do that.
Well, with previs, what you have to do is usually build the set. In this case, for Humongosaur, we got satellite pictures, and we used those to know where things were in relationship to each other. So we built the bridge, we knew where things were going to be, and that really helped us plan the shot.
Brought out virtual cameras and virtual humongosaur and virtual actors and virtual car and everything, and we worked the whole scene out, choreography-wise, before we got here.
We bring all the characters inside our scene, and these are environment that we build using satellite pictures. This is actually the bridge right there. There's a wall right there that we knew we had right there in the middle of the action, so we knew how to get around it. We have animation controls to be able to pose and animate the character. So as we do so, we set keyframes, we move in the timeline, we set new positions, new keyframes, and that's how we build up the whole animatic. From the storyboards, we had a couple of shots more or less vaguely describing the action. So when we choreographed, we were able to come up with the action and how it happened in what order. What we do first is a rough pass of the whole sequence, really roughly like positions and some of the camera angles. After that, we get approval from the director, and we get even notes and ideas. So we refine it more to a shot-per-shot basics. And then after that, we just break it down into different camera angles. We add more motion to it, and we start like cutting it together for timing.
The camera blocking is really important because we had to figure out the different camera angles and positions that the camera would be shooting from so that Alex was able to get the coverage that he wanted.
In the case of the humongosaur shot, we had train tracks in the back of the scene, and we knew that area was off limits because there's actually a lot of train traffic. So it really helped knowing like, okay, these are our limitations, so we need to set the shots on these angles and know the best angle ahead of time. So they knew exactly where to place the crane, where to place the camera, and not waste any time, like save time.
We had a wide range of shots so that he could basically have a better educated idea of how this sequence was going to play out.
We delivered the animatic in two forms, like as a QuickTime movie and also as stills for them to have on a piece of board on the set.
This is a little more building in some of the real world constraints of the scene, actually putting our, so we can actually see what we would see from a given lens and that sort of thing. So a little more accurate than the other version.
Don't tell Evan that actually this is all great and stuff, but this is my Bible right here.
They can quickly refer to the render frames, but at the same time have a laptop on hand and show a QuickTime movie so they can see the actual motion and timing of it. So this is the final animatic that we submitted for the director. In this final one, we work on all the cameras and all the cuts, and we got notes from the director on how to change camera angles and timing. You have to do it kind of quick and simple just to get it done as quick as possible. So everything is really rough, it moves really blocky, and there's not a lot of detail in the animation, but it's just enough for them to tell what's going on. So it is great to show the actors on set and also the crew so they all have an idea where things are and react accordingly.
What the previs allowed us to do is two things. It allowed production, physical production, to understand what it is they're shooting, because we're looking into emptiness pretty much most of the time. But more than that, it gives you a chance to actually make the best sequence you can, because once the plates are done, they're done. So by prevising, it gave us all a chance to sit around and think of what are the best shapes, what are the best angles, what's the best fight, and invariably they had great ideas. They had better ideas than my original boards because we had actual tangible stuff to look at.
The final sequence was really close to the animatic, except for a handful of like 2 or 3 shots that were cut out from it, but everything is really, really close to the final shot.
So before we got here, we had done we've shot the movie several times before we even got here, so, but always in the computer. So now we kind of know, we have a focused effort. We know what we need to get when we get out here to shoot this thing, and we know that it's going to work because we've already seen it.
And so that's why it's been invaluable here, because I think what we have now is in a very compact way, and every movie, no matter how big its budget, has to be conservative in terms of how they shoot effects. Our budgets are tight, so we have to be extra conservative, and in order to keep the bar as high as we want it on these movies, as much of that sort of pre-thinking that we can do, pre-development, to make sure we're getting the best scene out of it, the better. And I think what we have now is a phenomenal scene, and certainly a much better scene than it was originally conceived, and that's largely because of this previs that we've done.
Time to speak. There barely was a lesson learned, 'cause it will return no favors back to me. I'm sure it tasted oh so sweet, but it was never good enough for me. I bit the tongue behind my taste. It was never good enough for me. You say you always keep your word. Show me what you're after. I thought you promised me the world. Tell me what you're after. Just a little faster. Am I the only eyes that see so steadily this cut and dry routine? Even when you're by my side, I still need time to feel the company. I'm sure it tasted oh so sweet, but it was never good enough for me. I bit the tongue behind my taste. It was never good enough for me. You say you always keep your word. Show me what you're after. I thought you promised me the world. Tell me what you're after. Don't wanna take it way too far, 'cause here we are, waiting once again. You say you always keep your word. Show me what you're after, just a little faster. Just a little faster. Hold your breath now, the bad blood's wearing thin from the pain that settles in when we learn too much too soon. Hold your breath.